used to read, and one was Venom's Ultimate. I forget. It was a really thick volume about Venom. It was like it was something where it was crossed out. It said Carnage, but then he crossed out and put Venom. It was a really cool art piece on the cover of Venom hanging upside down with stuff oozing out of his mouth, and something like the revenge of Carnage or Venom. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I wanted to just take a little glance at this story. I looked it up and to make sure I could take it out. I think it's okay because it's only going for about $10 online right now. But it seemed pretty cool, and although I'm a little bit late for the release of Spider-Man Homecoming, I did see the movie, and it was a really good movie, by the way. I think it might be my favorite Spider-Man movie. So, at least I got close to the proximity of Spider-Man being out in the theaters right now. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and let's get started. So, this looks very glossy, so I think it'll be, might be a little bit of a challenge to not be reflecting into the camera, but nonetheless, let's open it up. Let's see what we have. This guy's still nicely preserved, so I'll be sure to put it back in here afterwards. Alright. Maximum Carnage, the awesome conclusion. Unfortunately, we never got to see the beginning, but better the end than the beginning, I guess. The explosive finale to Marvel's wildest crossover. Now, I looked it up real briefly, and apparently direct edition is different than the newsstand edition that you can buy at a local store, I guess. And I guess they're worth a little bit more money, but unfortunately this isn't worth that much. I guess because it's only this is probably 24, almost a quarter century old now. So that's not bad, but it's certainly not a 1960s edition from 1993. So, I guess the premise down here is that Spider-Man has to face off with Carnage, and Venom gets the winner. knows, I don't profess to be a comic book fanatic. I'm not really knowledgeable about them whatsoever, but I guess that's all to say that it's kind of why I like looking at the older ones to see the advertisements. Good old Meteor Man over here with such 90s cultural icons as Sinbad, Big Daddy Kane, of course Bill Cosby, James Earl Jones, and the up-and-coming Eddie Griffin. Spider-Man has some shattered ribs, you can see, but he still leaps instinctively, even before his exhausted mind can grasp the startling realization that he's caught between two snarling monsters. So we have mere moments ago, though still in a weakened state, Venom had been furious at having missed the final showdown. But that was before Carnage rose from the muck of Central Park Lake. We shall have vengeance. Spider-Man over here saying Carnage fooled us. I guess that's Venom. You tortured and brutalized us, and we truly fear that we have been cheated of our chance to return the favor. Smack. And then Carnage. You think you've suffered? My mind is on fire. I guess Carnage's human identity is Cassidy. He's still hurting from the effects of the alpha magniluminizer that we managed to cobble together. It's driving him over the edge, says Spider-Man. You and your miserable friends did this to me. Too much abuse. Venom, not too concerned about it. And then here he goes. Wow. So Venom, getting deep, says we will rip you out of this cheap imitation of our symbolic other. And then we will strip you off your skin. Strip off your skin layer by layer. Wow. Oh, and Venom hit Spider-Man right in the ribs. And then Spider-Man over here is concerned about getting his insurance cards from Mary Jane so that he can check into the nearest emergency room. mesmerizing because it has the graphics of a CD-ROM. And for tips and information, you guys might want to go get a pen and pencil. They got the number here, 85. Only 85 cents a minute. Uh-oh, we got someone else. So now we have block parties erupting through the city because people think Carnage has been vanquished from an earlier plight, no doubt. So I suppose this is Vampire, and that's Morbius. And this is Night Watch over here. So they must have came together to help Spider-Man out. I'm sure Spider-Man's very grateful. So they part ways. And here we are in the emergency room. Crowded, far beyond capacity. Mary Jane looks very distraught. She says she thinks this must be what it's like in a war zone. Until she sees Peter, of course. And then he has to break the news to Mary Jane that Carnage is in fact still alive. He goes to Rikers Island Complex now. Carnage is looking to break someone free. But Venom is right on his tail. So Venom knocks Carnage into the steel gates. And the guard says, "What in the name of heaven?" Carnage retorts, "Boy, you have a lousy sense of direction. Heaven and I are about have as much in common as Vanna White and Oprah Winfrey." I'm guessing that was a comment about them being black and white. I don't think that would go over too well these days in an Avengers movie. And then he says, "You're certainly not doing the gene pool any favors." And here's Venom, who takes a couple shots to the chest that were aimed for the guard by Carnage. So here Venom is now creating a better reputation, where the guard assumed he was as bad and as much of a maniac as Carnage. Venom just simply tells the guard He's been a victim of outrageous lies and gossip, and that carnage, in fact, kills indiscriminately and quite randomly. And, guys, make sure your Game Gear is charged up, because we have WrestleMania Steel Cage, Spider-Man Return of the Sinister Six, and T2, the Terminator. Available now. At, I don't know, whatever store preceded GameStop. It's a good question, actually. You have to mail order those, maybe. I don't know. And then Venom declares that he chooses his victims quite discriminately, or carefully. So here's Spider-Man dealing with people hating the aftermath of all the carnage that was wreaked upon the city. So, Spider-Man's having a one-on-one with, I would guess, Mary Jane's father, calling him Dad. Wait a minute. Never mind, I guess. He says, "Look, Dad, I know you and Mom spent 20 years in a Soviet prison and saw and experienced more horrors than most people can imagine. You once told me that beneath the veneer of civilization, all men were devils. Sick and twisted monsters who do anything to crush another man's spirit and consume his soul. And then it cuts over to Venom and Carnage. You said that we had to use any means necessary to stop these monsters in this madness. Any means. I don't believe that's true. In your heart, neither do you. Somehow you and Mom found strength to survive. You couldn't have done without hope. So the Dad thinks Peter is calling him a monster now. But Peter really just wants to be honest with him, I guess. And Mary Jane gets woken up later from her attractive sleep in her skimpy nighttime outfit. There's a lot of sex appeal going on in this comic. Peter's simply exposing some film. So, Mary Jane's upset that he's donning his costume and going out. And I have a feeling she's gonna try to persuade him not to. Oh boy. She's just upset. She's always worried about him. Face it, Tiger. You hit the jackpot. So with his morale and testosterone rejuvenated, a kiss or so later, Spider-Man saw the only way Carnage can stop him now is to kill him. Now it appears Carnage is cowering amid the ruins of St. Estes' home for boys. He's taunted by his bloody past when Venom breaks in at a weak moment. Here's a nice little interlude. So here they go again. Well, Carnage really seems like he's not able to take on Venom. That's a very 90s term right there. Venom don't play that. Spider-Man has to come in and interfere. Spider-Man simply cannot condone murder, even Carnage, which, of course, Venom ain't about to play that. It's Venom, and now Venom's threatening Spider-Man because of that. Spider-Man's warning him of his obsession to kill Venom, or Carnage. I keep mixing them up, sorry. So, apparently Venom feels responsible that he's created the evils that is Carnage. That Carnage is their dark side. A distorted version of everything we believe. And Spider-Man says, yeah, I do understand, that's exactly how I see you. Venom says, but I protect innocence. Here, in a thought bubble, Spider-Man says I should know better than to try to reason with this psychopath. He may see himself as one of the good guys, but as far as I'm concerned, only an illusion of sanity differentiates him from Carnage. That's bound to present a major problem after we... Carnage is gone. While they've been in dialogue, Carnage got the heck out of there. And so now, Mary Jane must be nice and cool in there, because she doesn't want to put on any more clothing, it appears. Felicia Hardy calls Mary Jane, and So Spider-Man teamed up with Venom. The only way they have a shot is while he remains delirious. So Venom and Carnage, they're so entwined in my mind, I almost can't picture one surviving without the other. Sort of the way I used to feel about myself and Harry Osborn before he died. So Spider-Man's having an internal dilemma now. So he's thinking deep as well as acting. Two hard things to do simultaneously. Carnage is really only looking for a place to hide out until his mind is at ease again. Then he's gonna go to his mom's. Not sure what that means, if that's literal or not. Wow, he's Cassidy or Carnage is even worse, in worse shape than Spider-Man thought. He's so desperate that he's retreating into his past in a vain attempt just to escape Venom. Ah, okay. So he was grieving at his mother's grave. People didn't act like that on the Wonder Years. That show is awesome, by the way. I think it's on Netflix. I've been watching it. That was a little while ago. That's really funny that they made that reference. Man, Carnage is all sorts of out of sorts. That didn't really, well, I guess that made sense. Didn't sound good though. I see what's going on here. You're trying to make me look bad in front of my mommy. You're jealous because I was certifiable long before I ever got tangled up with you and your alien symbiote. Maybe I should just let these two. Nah, definitely not my style. I wonder if I can blind Carnage with my webbing, his old alien symbiote. Could relay visual information to him, but this is a whole new costume. So he helps Venom out. But at the same time, he's trying to prevent Venom from killing him. He can't sink to that level. Venom says, yes, we can, and we'll love every minute of it. He just slams him in the face. Whoops. off venom. Too many people have died already. He says, do you know about the sick childhood Cassidy endured? The abuse he suffered. Is it any wonder he turned out like he did? He never had a chance. Maybe he thought he was the most innocent of them all. The time has finally come for you to put your personal demons to rest, Brock. To bury your ghosts in the past and begin the healing process. And Carnage says, nice speech, Webster. But even I didn't buy it. That psychobabble is good for the occasional plea bargain, but it bears little relation to reality. I am, therefore I kill. Enough said. Wow. Of all the stupid, careless, whoa, look where I landed, right between Harry and Norman Osborn's gravestones. Did Carnage throw me over here deliberately, or was that a coincidence? Maybe I should listen to my own advice and bury my ghosts if I ever get the chance. And sayonara, Spidey. I can't let Venom take me down without one for the road. And guess who's the fall guy? Oh, from here it looks like a certain crimson-clad maniac. We got the black cat and her bare chest. What are you doing here? I was on my way to St. Estes and I heard commotion. I didn't expect to see you back in the fight. Neither did I, but cats are supposed to have 9 lives, so I had a few to spare. Me too. I'm really glad you're here, lady. This is getting a little too crowded, so I'll just snag Mommy Dearest. He grabs her grave and looks like he's gonna run away. Why does he want that coffin? Who knows? Spider-Man says. Doesn't really always make sense. So Venom's still just trying to straight up kill him. He wants nothing to do with Carnage being alive. But it appears Spider-Man's moral obligation not to kill, no matter what, and value life, is starting to haunt him and sink in. Are you an object of hatred or pity? Tell me, Carnage, I must know if you are worthy of vengeance or protection. Whoa, baby. You back a heck of a wallop, pal. But apparently, that cleared his mind and sinuses as well, so he can think really clear-headed, I guess. Oh wow. Looks like they ran into He sacrificed himself to save us. We may owe him our lives. Then they look over and see Cassidy. He's badly burnt and hardly breathing. I don't suppose I could convince you to. No way. I guess she wanted to just kill him. But they can't find Venom's body. Yeah, he thinks he might be dead, but she's not buying it because his costume can blend into the surroundings. You just can't find him unless he wants to be found. Here he says, Venom thinking to himself, our work here is done. It'll take us a while to recover from that explosion. I'm still not sure about leaving Cassidy. That's Spider-Man's idea. Just let him worry about it. He's really good at that sort of thing. Looks like we have a little typo. Or blank, only rationalizing because the guy just saved my... Hey, we have company. That doesn't look like any helicopter I've ever seen. It's the Avenging Gunjet. Or Quinjet. I don't know what that is. The Avengers. Captain America has already advised us of Cassidy's ability to regenerate his costume. We came equipped with a stasis container. And the cat lady says, these Avengers don't look so tough. I'll bet I can make the cut. Spider. I don't mean to weird you out, but that coffin Carnage dug up, it's empty. The old empty coffin trick. I wonder what Cassidy was planning. Maybe Cassidy didn't leave enough of his mother's body to bury. Or he could have had a bizarre reason for wanting it empty. We could do this all day with a guy like Cassidy. There's no logical explanation that's guaranteed. And she says, even though he's in Avengers custody, I don't know if I'll ever feel truly safe from Carnage. Monsters like that always have a way of returning. Looks like Thor over here with a beard. It says you need to have a little faith, pretty lady. Spider-Man lastly ends with, believe it or not, some monsters stay dead and buried forever, and their ghosts can't haunt you unless you allow them. And to himself he says, I hope. Guys, that's the end of Maximum Carnage. This other little bit is just another episode of Spider-Man. That looks interesting, but I'll save that for another occasion. guess this was the original Mortal Kombat video game, September 93. That's a cool advertisement. So, I'll leave you guys with that.